Joining me now is Joaquin Marias. He is the president and CEO of Argenta Silver. Great to see you. Great to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So the backstory of Argenta is really interesting. You're with the Fiore group. You brought an idea to the group, i.e., Frank Giustra and his team, and that combined with Frank's goal and dream of having a pure play silver player in Latin America. So could you give us a little flavor on the backstory?
Yes, of course. So it's very interesting because at this moment we are here at Beaver Creek. Last year, in this same place in Beaver Creek, last year, we were raising the first $15 million to start the company. And at that moment, we didn't even know that the company was going to be named Argenta Silver. That new it's this story. So I am a geologist. I am from Argentina. I have been working in different parts of the world, and it's very interesting because just before getting my degree as a geological scientist in Argentina, I went to Elquevar 16 years ago. I walk around the project, and then, as I told you, I have been working in different places, and I always was trying to compare Elquevar with the projects that I were visiting. And it was pretty much interesting that the footprint and the size of Elquevar was not matching the other places that I was visiting or looking at. So I have been following the asset since then, since the last 16 years. In August last year, I saw that the asset was going to be available or was in conditions to be available because the previous owner was suffering some financial issues. And that's how in August, I came to talk to Frank. I told him, Frank, look, I was working for him for 4 years. And I came to him and I told him, look, there is a huge opportunity here with a silver project. We should think about this. I told him this story that I have been for 16 years following this up. And that's when we said, okay, let's do it. And as I told you, it was the 24th of August, I remember. And then we came to Beaver Creek and we were already raising the money to start this company that afterwards we end up calling Argenta Silver. It's based on this pure silver play. We have a long-term vision and a lot of ambition too, I would have to say. We are looking here to create a big company that is going to be based or focused in Latin America, that it's looking for pure silver plays.
Right. So it seems like the story is pretty straightforward. It's Argentina. It's pure silver. 45 million ounce indicated already. You're going to expand it. That's the goal, obviously. You've got 60 million plus in infrastructure in the surrounding area. So maybe a little snapshot of is that sort of those are the key aspects?
Well, the key aspects of these projects are, first of all, the location. The project is located over a major structural corridor. This, geologically speaking, is the same corridor that is hosting some of the biggest copper deposits in the world on the Chilean side of the Andes. So in the Argentine side of the Andes, as a mirror image, it's Elquevar. And this is a volcanic complex, which is huge. We cover 80% of this, and this is more than 20 kilometers in diameter. So the potential of future exploration is huge. That's point one. We go now into more in detail into the deposit itself. Then we have the project itself or the deposit itself, which is pure silver. It's 45.3 million ounces of pure silver at 482 grams per ton, plus that's in the indicated category, plus 4.1 on the inferred category at 417 grams per ton. So this is very interesting because it's 90% indicated and only 10% inferred. On top of all this setting that I'm telling you, we have the infrastructure that you were mentioning. We have a railroad, we have a power line, we have a gas pipeline, we have a road that it's almost 50% or 60% paved. It will be 75% paved, and we are at only 4 hours from a major city within an international airport. So all this external infrastructure is fundamental. And on top of that, the project itself has 60 kilometers of internal roads and a camp that is fully operational for 100 people. So when you think about the infrastructure, it's fantastic because the money that it's coming from investors is not going into building all this infrastructure. It's going into that potential that I was mentioning at the very beginning. So here we will be developing a dual approach plan. Probably you will be asking me about this a little bit more, but the approach here is resource expansion and target definition or target exploration. So that means looking for new things. So we will be allocating 40% of our capital into expanding the resource. And then all that potential that we have there, we need to be aggressive with it. And we need to go and chase new potential deposits that may be laying down there. That's why we are going to allocate 60% of our capital on that exploration side of things.
Interesting, very interesting. So you're currently drilling a 4,000 meter program. This is phase two.
That's correct. Yeah.
And some of the results have been very high grade. What are some of the highlights of that? And what are some of the exploration plans? You sort of detailed it there a little bit into 26.
So when I put this project into place, when we created the company and we acquired the project, we obviously acquire an immense amount of information, not only the camp, the roads and all this, but an immense amount of information. And that information was required to put it in order, and we required to do new things that were never done before. In between them, the project has never seen a 3D program. We put it for the first time on a modern 3D program, and we start to spin things around. So all that is what we call the foundational program for El Quevar. And this foundational program was split in two phases. Phase one, that is what I was mentioning, database compilation, relogging, working on the 3D, understanding what we had. And the phase two of this foundational program was the 4,000 meters that you just mentioned.
Yep.
So these 4,000 meters, we're going to test different targets, and we have had spectacular results, as you said. In between them, the last news release that we put out, we were announcing 40 meters with 1,026 grams per ton.
That's awesome.
And yeah, and in there, in the 40 meters, there is 1 meter with 18,467 grams per ton of silver, which is spectacular, right? And these results are part of the resource itself, which is a very high grade resource and a very low tonnage resource. That means that every time that we find more rock, we can increase drastically our ounces because the rock is so mineralized that just a little bit of tonnage increases a lot the resource. The plan for the future, as I was saying, we have now these 4,000 meters from the foundational program, but when the foundational program is over, now things start to get fun, right? Now it's when we go out and we drill much more. So the incoming program, it's the summer program for Argentina because it's summer in Argentina. Yeah. It's in between October or November this year until April next year. We hope to be drilling between 12 to 15,000 meters. Afterwards, we will embark ourselves into other program, which is going to be the winter in Argentina in 2026. Probably there we will be drilling another 10,000 meters. So the idea with these meters, as I told you, is to split on this dual approach, which will run simultaneously. So that gives us a lot of power because we will be adding value to the project by expanding the resource, the existing resource, and at the same time, we are taking the advantage of this potential to try to find something new out there.
Okay, Joaquin, on the financial side, the company recently raised $15 million through Red Cloud, and I'm just wondering and that was upsized, of course, I think a couple times, right? So what can you tell us about the demand for that offering? And also, I understand you'd like to get more institutions involved with the stock.
Well, look, we are chasing here something very big. As I told you, this is an ambitious plan. Argenta is not only about El Quevar, Argenta is about building a big company into the future. And for that, you need something very important. You need long-term, high-quality shareholders, that they understand the game and that they understand that good things, they take a little bit of time to build. We need these people to stay with us and still supporting us. That's why the institutional support is very important, because there are very high-quality institutions from Europe or North America or other parts of the world that they are looking these kind of projects and they want to be part of these projects, right? We run different financial financings along the story of the project, and the last thing that happened to us was the bought deal coming from Red Cloud, which was fantastic. You said that it was upgraded a couple of times. I have to say that, yeah, it was upgraded a couple of times. We decided to close it on 15 million. And afterwards, we will be Eduardo Elstein, one of the largest shareholders of the company, he decided to use his pro rata right, and he invested $2.5 million more on top. So we ended up having an inflow to our treasury of 17.5 million Canadian dollars. With that, we have built a treasury of 24 million Canadian dollars that we have in the bank at this moment. And those are the ones that we will use for the future plans that I was mentioning before.
So lastly here, Joaquin, I've seen you interviewed, or maybe it was a presentation, but you say you literally wake up every morning envisioning this project to be a 250 million ounces. Right now you're around 45 and a bit, call it 50 with the inferred. So sort of flesh that out for us. Give us a sense of that vision.
Okay, so this is very simple, and it has a relation with this dual approach that I have been mentioning so much in this interview. We have today 50 million ounces combined in between inferred and indicated, from which 90% are indicated. That means that they are very much de-risked, right? So what we need to do now is we need to step out the existing resource. We need to step out in both ends, trying to see if the resource get expanded. So we believe that if we find more mineralization in both ends, we can achieve potentially we could achieve the same amount of ounces that we have there. So this means that if we can build 100 million ounce deposit in that place, that's a great start. Where are coming the other 150 million ounces? Well, they will come from the exploration that we need to do outside. That's why we are going to be aggressive with those, and that's why we are going to allocate 60% of our resources into go and look for those 150 million ounces there. The project itself, it's been explored in probably 1% or 2% of the totality of the surface. Nobody has been walking or drilling out of that small piece of land. And we have a package of 57,000 hectares. So we need to put boots on the ground, put our guys out there and let them go and explore, and then start to move strategically from the resource area into the other areas that have so much potential. So I believe that it's doable. There are companies in the market that they have done so. I believe that it's very important to do a step-by-step approach, to be very methodological, to be very careful with what we are doing. Something that it's in our presentation now on the web, it's how good we are on managing the investors' money. So if you see our presentation on the web, you will see that in 12 months, we have created a company that was $20 million in market cap at the beginning. Now it's over $200 million in market cap. And we have spent only for that $5.5 million. So every time that we use a dollar from our investors, we are thinking of how important it is to think about the return on the investment that they are doing.
Well, thank you for shedding light on Argenta Silver. Fascinating story. We'll see you again.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
For sure. Thank you, Joaquin. Joaquin Marias, he is the CEO at Argenta Silver.